round of applause. Let's go. Right, okay, so we've got Chaz and Dave. Sorry, no, I mean Simon. Okay, Dave is the principal chief executive.
Yeah.
What are we?
All of that.
Of
My glasses on and I'm running, aren't I?
Of this esteemed institution, Anglo-Ruskin University in London. And I can't remember what Simon and Dave are going to talk to you about now.
It's idea pitching.
Idea pitching, there you go. So, right, really, really important. Has anybody got a question now? Right, I want a hand up, otherwise I'm turning right.
No, we want an idea.
Yeah.
Somebody got an idea to pitch. All right, at the front. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right.
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
Yeah, do I have to say my name and everything?
Yes, no, just.
All right. Oh, okay. My name is Lorraine, and I'm a final year student at the Anglo-Ruskin in Farringdon.
Okay.
So I have this idea in my head a long time ago to have a business. And the business is to run a residential support home for particularly young people within the age of 18 to 18 plus. Right. So I did a research on the area that is needed and found out that in that area there is this vaccine, the 18 to overs, and when they reach 18, they're probably in a home or in their homes, or they live in hospital or something. So they have mental health, or they have some form of disability or some form of behavioral difficulties. They cannot go out on their own. So my question is that a good idea?
Well, there's a couple of things there. I mean, what you're looking at here is setting up something that's local to an area.
Yes.
So, and you've looked at doing some research in that area. What else is around in the area? What other residential homes are in the area? Have you looked at the other?
Oh, you're asking me? Yes, of course. Yes.
So you've looked at all of that plus. You've done a lot of your research.
Yeah.
What, first of all, sort of helps it, is this a good idea or not? It's really difficult to say until you actually start executing on the idea. But does your research say that there's people that want more residential homes in that area, or has a need for another residential home?
The area that's
That's me to say that. Yeah.
Sorry, going on television somewhere.
Yes, the area that I've actually looked in, like the area I lived in and 3 surrounding areas. And yes, we do need it, because one of the areas, my area that I lived in, we had quite a few homes that now the government has closed down and are looking for like private owners, people to take it over. And so far there is none. There are like about 6 that was closed down, and so far there is none of them.
So okay. So there's been homes closed down, residential homes closed down in the area, and you're looking to fill the gap. With these.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, there's some real challenges in there, aren't there?
There are.
There's a couple of warning signs as well that you just really need to get into. So, one, why is the gap opened up, and why is nobody filling it? Because the demand might be there, but there's some interesting issues there around regulation, I suspect, that you need to get some understanding of, but also financing of it. Because if there was a big opportunity there, there'd be people that would be jumping in and grabbing hold of that. That doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity, but there may be some blockages that are stopping those individuals coming in. So understanding that and understanding the flow of funds as well be really important. I suspect that's funded through local government and the health sector, the health service. So how you access that will be pretty critical as well. There's a massive need in the health area. I mean, huge need, but there's also massive regulation and massive challenges around that. So it's getting down to the individual situation.
When you said regulation, sorry, can you just expand a little more? Because I've spoken to like CQC and the other one. And they are quite willing to work with me on a one-to-one. I have someone on my email that keep it with, but it costs money as well. So.
Lorraine, I think there's a lady that's doing a talk, one of the latest sessions on it's business operations and finance, Winifred.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce you later in the day. She'll be able to give you some guidance on that. That's the sort of thing that she does. So I think it'd be much easier for you to speak directly to her rather than us going to the details.
No worries at all. Thank you so much.
Great opportunity.
But yeah.
Come
on. Questions. Somebody must. I mean, must be somebody in this audience with an idea. Yeah. Is the mic working?
I was on part of the Wellbeing Foundation, and philanthropists put together a company for old people, for everyone in between, to social impact projects.
Okay.
And they focus on entrepreneurship is a big part of them. They're helping me start wellness retreats, like affordable, accessible wellness retreats. Just don't seem to exist on the market. With market as well as 4.3 billion already, and expected to grow further by 2025. I'm just like, how do you attract that kind of audience when there's no market for it at the moment?
What do you mean there's no market?
There's a big market. There's nothing out there on the market. How do you like to start marketing to people saying, oh, look, there's this idea that's out there? And how do you get the traction?
I mean, this is in some ways what I'm going to be talking about in my idea validation part, which is going to lead on from the business model and going to the customers. But there are ways of, once you identify who your customers are likely to be and how you can get to them, then there are really inexpensive ways or free on the internet for you to actually get hold of people. Too many people mix up saying, well, if I'm selling my product, my service, whatever I'm doing in the physical world, I can't use the internet to find out whether people are interested. That's a fallacy. Everybody goes onto the internet now to research and to look at things and to answer questions and to find things. So maybe a little bit later on in the idea validation, the business model canvas, the customer profiles and the idea validation, we can look at that and talk about that.
But leaping out, it's a fantastic idea. I mean, wellness at the moment is just absolutely huge. I mean, in every sector. But look at our sector here in education. Really, well-being was sort of, down there a little bit. Now, one of the first questions I get when talking about the university is, what are the well-being services? How much well-being is there? What do you do for your student well-being? And so it goes on. And well-being officers, quite frankly, where you used to be able to sign them really easily, the salaries of wellbeing officers are going through the roof. The demand for wellbeing is colossal. And my children talk to me about it pretty much every day, so clearly it's a big thing.
Yeah, and my key target is like university students at the moment. Because normally retreats cost upwards of £1,000 a week. And I'm trying to reduce it and make it affordable and accessible to everyone. That's my aim.
Well, it's interesting. We're looking at some of the same markets because we're just launching some new courses around wellbeing. Because for exactly the same reason, we can see that being a massive growth market. It's how we get into it, and it's how we take advantage of it.
Brilliant. We've got a question from John. John.
Interestingly,
I don't think the microphone works.
So we can hear people back.
Oh,
okay. So interestingly, myself, I've been developing a concept called Void, which is initially it was I went on holiday to my sister's. With my family to my sister's Caravan down in the market, and I was just amazed how little had changed since I was a kid. I thought it was fantastic. I went down to, we had a really cheap, just off lockdown from the transport. It was a really nice holiday. I went down to Margate and I went to the Turner Contemporary and I saw how that art, if you like, had a huge effect on the local community and how it helped the businesses. And a lot of people, I was looking around thinking, wow, this feels like Shoreditch. It was like really local, really cool, sort of like trendy people, which I've never seen in Margate before. And I got thinking, well, maybe there's an opportunity here to develop, the classic Caravan park and create something that's more modern and artistic. but at the same time, do something, as you rightly said, to help people post-COVID, you know, for their mind well-being, and also do something good for the planet in terms of climate change. I suppose, so I had this idea of creating recycled architecture that look like something you might send graphic designers, it's quite affordable, on decommissioned airstrips. So you could, it's kind of ironic in a way that, you know, the airplanes have gone and they're obviously massive contributors to you know, greenhouse gases, etc. My question to you is, as a university, are there opportunities for students to get involved in research projects to study? For example, I was thinking that maybe that particular idea could benefit students who are interested in solving climate change, or at least helping climate change, like making the Caravan, for example. It could, I don't know, harvest rainwater, or you know, study wind or something like that, and certainly renewable energies. Is there ways of getting the universities to get involved in a study, or become an academic partner in a research, in a project such as this?
Yeah, will be the short answer to that. The long answer is obviously very long. It does depend. It's the part of the university that we need to link you up with to make that happen, because research projects like that sounds to me as though that would work as a postgraduate research project, especially associated with a course around climate management or something like that, possibly linked to art, because you mentioned some art, various bits and pieces. So it will be about finding the right part of the university, getting you linked up with the right course leaders and the right researchers to make that happen. And they're not areas we specialise here in ARU London, but certainly ARU as a whole, based in Coach and Shottsford, does loads of that sort of stuff. So we can talk later, and I'll give you some notes.
There's a question in the back. Come on, Jake.
Hi, so I'm a Phoebe. I'm on the same premise as the person before. I think I don't remember the name, sorry. But I also, I've been running a wellness coaching business for the best part of almost a decade now. So I've got multiple income streams, but I would like, I'm also run retreats, but I want to build a business that has a bit more of a social impact aspect as well, whereas activity didn't see. So the retreats would be also with a social impact, whether it's like climate, and also running charity projects while people are on retreats. But that's part of it. But I also want to run maybe studios, so I teach circus and aerial classes. And what I've noticed is there's a huge demand for it. It's insane. Like the class is always full. So the demand for actually making revenue is a possibility. But what I'd like to do is also create the social impact to provide access for underprivileged communities who can't afford it, and also disabled communities, because I'm disabled myself, and I just want to use that also as like an inspiring project to eventually mentor people into creative careers or even instructing careers in the future. So the question I have is like, how would you run a business that needs the funding and needs an investment? So it's like in business, but also a bit of a charity project. So it's kind of, there's a lot to think about when you want to do both sides of it.
Actually, what you've described there and your question is almost perfect. Our next thing on the agenda after, well, we're having lunch, the online community, and we'll have to give you a link to the online, there's a pitch party, a social impact pitch party, where they're looking for people to pitch exactly what you pitched there. And these people have set up that they are able to help people with social impact. So it might actually be, rather than repetitive, it might be worth actually pitching that to them, unless you've got anything else to add on that.
No, I mean, it's always the same, isn't it? It's the income stream. So ultimately, you're going to find the income stream from somewhere, but there are loads of different routes opening up, loads of different opportunities, and loads of different funding streams coming online from lots of different areas. So organisations that are investing for all sorts of reasons, marketing reasons, branding reasons, as well as social reasons, to try and show that their social credentials are there. So there's a growing opportunity, and it's identifying that income stream, because ultimately it's got to wash its face somewhere along the line.
Any more questions?
We've got a raised hand online.
Oh, Sonia.
Shall I read them?
And I'll slide.
Can you ask
Ask Sonia who's up there.
to unmute?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
I'm just out and about listening into you guys, so I thought I'd just ask a quick question. Just a little bit around what you were saying about the well-being being a key focus in universities at the moment. My business that I run is a well-being and art event business. And I just wondered from what you were just saying, if you think like there's space to go directly to universities and kind of pitch a well-being idea to them and see if they're interested. I don't know if that's the way that things are done.
I mean, every university across the country, in fact, I'm going to have to disappear after some of these sessions, just after lunch, to go off to meet a range of other university leaders across London. And I can guarantee, and that's to discuss a whole range of issues going in higher education. I'm going to be able to make it back later on, but I can guarantee.
Yeah, sorry, my connection's gone. I'm so sorry. I'm at the art gallery at the moment.
I would say a good half of that time is spent talking about well-being, because student well-being in every type of university. So our type of students here are mature students, most of them are commuting. One set of well-being challenges. But if you've got 18-year-olds leaving home for the first time, especially if they've been in lockdown for some time, leaving home, that creates a whole host of other well-being issues. And we all know the impact of social media, allegedly, on individuals' well-being. And it really is having a massive impact on universities. So the well-being requirements are huge. So do I think there are opportunities at universities for well-being? Absolutely. You know, I've been advising my children to train in well-being because I think there's a great future in well-being. But I'm sure you'll want to speak to me later about that.
Dave, before I go to the next question, there's quite a lot of other university students online from places around the UK. If they have well-being ideas or ideas like that, who should they contact at their university?
Every university now has a well-being service.
Okay.
It may be called something slightly different, but it's going to have wellness or well-being in it. For example, a big thing at the moment is universities providing dogs to walk, sort of wellness dogs and wellness pets days. So there are people who are generating income by loaning their dogs to universities so that students can walk their dogs. So gone are the days you pay someone to walk your dog out. You rent your dog out for other people. Obviously, you've got to make sure your dog doesn't fight them, otherwise well-being goes out the window. But yeah, these are happening in pretty much every university. So if you've got an idea and it's a local idea, I would be taking that idea to your university well-being service and say, look, we could do this, or through your student union will be another great way to do it. And then, you know, find out where it is. There is a big need out there in universities, and not just universities, schools, colleges. There's that need everywhere, and that's just a part, obviously, of wider society. I think this is a massive growth market area.
Fabulous, fabulous. Okay, we have another question.
Yes. Hi, my name is Elisa. I finished the MBA, so I've been working, and my question is, how can we, as a new entrepreneurs that we want to start our business, how we can move from a security job, which is my main concern, because I have my job and I've been struggling a bit to take a step and think, okay, I need that time to improve my business ideas and to find funders and, well, investors more and people that will help me. Then at the same time, I'm working full time and I have to spend my days and my weekends and my nights, and still I think I don't have enough time during the week. And what do you think it would be sufficient time, or as well, what do you suggest for us that we want to start a business? How long we can wait until we move from a secure job until like something that, I mean, I have to pay my rent. Sorry, I have to pay my rent, so for me, very.
This is a really, really good question, an important question, I think, for all entrepreneurs, all founders, whether you're got a secure job or whether you're a student or wherever you are in the stage, whether you haven't got a job, the thing you can do is there's an awful lot you can do in your spare time where you don't have to. You can have a full-time job, is what I'm saying, and do a lot of the work in starting a business in terms of doing your research about your idea, looking at who the customers would be. This day will take you through an awful lot of the things. What we try to do within 12 Ronnies, within our mentoring platform, that seems really bizarre. We try to deter people from launching a business too early. People go, I want to launch this. No, please don't launch until you put a lot of things in place. That's where the problem lies. And people say, should I leave my job? No, do not leave your job, a secure job, until you put certain things in place. And so there are things you can do. The nice thing, because you haven't got already a business going that's burning money or maybe paying people, is you can take your time. The other thing that people do is they think, oh, if I don't do it now, somebody else is going to do it and I'm going to miss out. That's rarely the case. There are examples of that you hear about, but 99.9% of the time, you've got all the time in the world to actually frame your idea, find your customers, put things in place. And then when you feel secure enough, that it's about managing risk and uncertainty. You're in a high risk, high uncertainty environment. As you reduce that, you say, now it's time to take the leap. Anything?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you'll know.
Yeah.
I think at the moment, if you're worrying about the mortgage, it's not right. And it's about using your time smartly. Yeah, so you can spend every minute of every hour and spend a fortune preparing to start a business that never goes absolutely anywhere. So Simon and the team are going to take you through a whole range of things. Probably do at home on your laptop without spending any money, and everybody will want to offer you services and offer to take your money off you to do things for you. Don't do any of it, would be my advice. Not until you know you're there. So you focus on that. So it's about using your time smartly. But that's the key. That is a key point, isn't it? When does the business start paying for you? Because then it's got to be generating enough income to keep you going, and that is a key part of the business. And I would say you'll know when.
Thank you so much.
Now we're sort of running out of time now for lunch. There was a lady that contacted me earlier, and this I think is relevant to everybody here that hasn't pitched their idea. And she said, I've got a really good idea, but I'm a bit afraid that somebody might steal it. If I say it out in the open, somebody might steal it and then it's gone. They're running with it. Really, I wouldn't worry too much about that. On the first talk, you hear about ideas and intellectual property from a patent attorney. It's unless you've got a scientific discovery, a technological invention, something that you really need to secure before you tell anybody about, and we'll hear about that. Most of the time, it's so difficult to get anybody to listen to you and take your idea seriously. Customers are going to have to hear about what you do before you launch it, and rarely, again, if it's a new idea in the market, rarely is it the first entrant that makes all the money. It's normally somebody copying and doing it better. Entrepreneurs is all about executing ideas, not coming up, making them work, not just coming up with ideas. So most of the time, really, we've all got ideas. We want to run with our own, not steal somebody else's. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. It's a hard step to take, and it takes many years to realise that, doesn't it? But the first idea is also not really the one that makes the money.
No. The trouble is, what are you going to do with an idea that you won't tell anybody about? Because you probably you need funding or you need someone to help you. But I want you to fund this business, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a brave bank or investor that invests in you now, or I've got this thing to sell you, but I can't tell you what it is until that doesn't work. So sooner or later, you've got to tell somebody. And quite frankly, if it's other people are going to probably, if it's that good a thing that you're doing, other people try and copy it. So we did something new here as a university. We were the first to do the sort of thing with the 2 days, fixed days, and all this sort of thing. pretty much every university in London has now copied us, and that's fantastic because it says what we said we were going to do. It validates the idea, and that's fantastic. But they can't do it as well as we can because the competitive advantage is on the competence of doing it, not on the idea. So it's very unlikely that your idea that's critical. It's going to be the way in which you do it.
Brilliant. We're actually going to have to finish here.
Just enjoying.
I know you want to.
Just wants to shut me up.
Oh, sorry, Jake. Got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So, Winter, you got a quick 2-minute question. There you go.
30-second question. In your experience, looking at people who are making startups, to what extent or what is the correlation or causation of success if the idea is a personal idea linked to something personal? For example, someone takes a psychology degree because they want to do psychology on themselves. How linked to the idea that's inside of them does that lead to or not success?
I mean, from my personality question, I'm very data driven on all of these things. So, and I haven't got any data to. So I've got an opinion here, and I know what Chris says about opinions. You know, if all you've got are opinions, why not take mine? You know, if you've got data to prove it. I'm not sure what the exact quote is.
You have more data than I do.
Yeah, but what I will say is one of the most important aspects I've seen in mentoring lots of different startups is passion.
Yeah.
And if you're passionate about the idea and you really want to learn about it and grow with it, it's one of the biggest success factors. Because starting a business is hard work, and you're going to have to change and try things. I don't know how many people go, I've got an idea, I'm going to start a business, and then a week later it's all going. So passion. But that's based on what I've seen, but I can't put you any data on that.
Overlaid with a little bit of analysis, I would say.
Yeah.
The only danger is you care about something so much you don't recognise that actually it's all going wrong. Now, I've had experience about that myself. I believed in a business idea too much into it. It was failing. It took a long time before I went, yeah, don't waste any more time on that. Pull out and do something else. There does need to be that overlying sense brought in, and that's maybe where partners come in.
Thank you. Jake, it's what's now?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Feel free to come and speak to us about any ideas. We've also got a stand that we say ideas nests, where what we'd like you to do, it's a place to store your ideas. You can store them in private for those of you who are still afraid to share them. But for those of you that want to store ideas, just for this group, we've got a Founders Festival nest, and we'll be able to start showcasing your ideas to mentors and people that can help you. Just a trusted community there. So there'll be a stand ideas nest that you can enter them. Also, Trudy has got a bunch of forms from ARU London students where they put the basis of the idea on a form. Is that right, Trudy? Sitting on your stand outside there. If you can go to Trudy and get your form, find your form, and go over to the Ideas Nest stand for the Founders Festival, we'll enter it on there or help you enter it. And so that it'll be in one place and we can look to work with you on it.
Okay, everybody, give yourselves a round of applause.